I got to admit it, one of my favorite words of all time, and even though I just learned it probably in the last 10 years, is wanker. It is a fantastic word. It is a brilliant word. If you do not, or if you're not familiar with the word wanker, it is fantastic. Look it up. It is a British word, and it is heavenly. Hey, welcome to the big show. It is your good friend. It is your pal. It is your compadre. It is TC. Everybody, how you doing? I am having a bad hair day today, so I apologize in advance. Don't look, don't look. What do you gotta do? This is Rock This Town Live. We are here every Monday through Friday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain Time Zone, 5 on the West Coast of America. Throughout the rest of the world, pretty much it's tomorrow, but hey, what are you going to do? What's going on the big show today? Well, some late breaking news about Tico the Hitman Torres. We'll see if this ends up being true, but he may no longer be in Bon Jovi. I don't know. We'll see about that as the days unfurl, I suppose. We'll be talking a little Rush coming up pretty quick. A little more Ozzy, of course, because there's always Ozzy in the news, given that he passed away, I guess, 2 weeks ago, 2+ weeks ago. A little Iron Maiden, a little Poison, and the vinyl of the day. Oh, I forgot to grab it. Oh, crap. Oh, well, it might be a vinyl of the day 2 days in a row or something. It is Trickster and the album called Here, which Jen and I did get in the mail today. So if you're a Trickster fan, Here is available. Just find Trickster on Facebook or X or Instagram or wherever, and you can order a copy of Here. So there you go. I always like to start the show by reliving the past, man, because it's all about the past, baby. Anyways, I was thinking about this. Did you know that not only Neil Peart played his final concert and Rush played their final concert in 2015, and then, of course, Neil passed away some 5 years later, Van Halen played their last and final concert in 2015. And then, of course, a number of years later, the great Eddie Van Halen passed away. So not only did we lose a great in Neil Peart, we lost a great in Eddie Van Halen. Well, anyways, I was looking at this. I found this a poster, a tour poster for Rush's final show at the Forum in Los Angeles on August 1st, 2015. So that would have been what? By my math, 10 years ago plus 6 days. So I can't believe it's been that long. And I never saw Rush. I never saw Rush. I am stupid. One might call me a wanker for not seeing Rush. I don't know what I was thinking. I did love Rush in the 80s, man. They kind of had gone mainstream, I'm not kind of into the YYZ stuff or some of that other stuff, but hey, they were a staple at rock radio, So many great songs, and yeah, there you go. I don't know why I never saw him. I know my brother-in-law saw him. Mark saw him. Loved him. Absolutely. This is one of the best live shows he ever saw. That might have been on the R30 tour. I think that might have been on the R30 tour, but this was the R40 tour. And I want to do a little research really quick. And I wanted to see which cities did not sell out on the on the R40 tour. So I'm going to embarrass a couple of cities, including Lincoln, Nebraska is embarrassed for not selling out. They were about 1,000 people short of selling out. Who else is on this list here? New Orleans. What an embarrassment down in NOLA, baby. They did not sell out for Rush on the R40 tour. Fools! Greensboro, North Carolina did not sell out as well. And I think that's kind of it, except for our friends in Kansas City. Kansas City, what were you thinking? Though I think the Kansas City date was actually, it was only about 100 tickets that went unsold. So you got the barbecue going for you, Kansas City, which is pretty good. And that's about it, I guess. Well, you got the Chiefs, I guess, but they lost the Super Bowl last year. So what are you going to do? All right. Before we get to the first news story of the day, I want to check in and see that Beat After Beat is here. And Beat After Beat saw Rush on the Power Windows tour. Very nice. That is super cool. Very super cool. So there you go. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, there's my story on Tico the Hitman Torres. So now this isn't confirmed by any means. However, there was an account. I'm guessing this looks like it's on X, formerly known as Twitter, called Bon Jovi Talk. And this person posted, whoever runs the account posted, wait, Has Tico retired? Apparently, David said on the latest podcast with John that he and John started when they were 16, and now they're the only two remaining in the band. And then this person asked if Tico was done, that's the band. That's the band done. I guess that's what I'm saying. Tico is the heart and soul of the band. This isn't to start a rumor or gossip or anything. I'm genuinely asking. So I don't know. Maybe it's true. Hopefully it's not. I guess, Bon Jovi is just kind of disintegrated over the years. You had the classic lineup in the 80s with David and John and Tico and Richie and then Alec. And then, of course, Alec was kind of booted from the band in the early 90s after the Keep the Faith record. And then, as it stands, Richie has been booted or left. It's kind of like a David Lee Roth, he said, she said, when it comes to Richie, on whether he was booted, I think, or whether he, departed on his own terms. So we shall see. And then now, if Tico is kind of done, and I get it, drummers, it's hard for singers and it's hard for drummers as they get older. Let's see how old Tico the Hitman Torres is. Tico will be 72 this year. So Tico's getting up there, man. I mean, 72 and still trying to drum. How does that compare to, say, a Lars Ulrich, who's obviously got a lot of intense drumming? So Lars is going to be 62, so he's 10 years younger than Tico. So I could definitely see if Tico's like, okay, I'm out. I can't do it. And Bon Jovi's just kind of been inactive. And let's face it, I love Bon Jovi and I love John Bon Jovi, but John Bon Jovi, I think, kind of got a little bit of lead singer disease. Now, granted, I realize it's his band. I understand that completely. He had the deal before anything. It's kind of like, I guess you could compare it to Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. Dave recorded that album himself, and boom, did all the legwork, and then everybody else joined after that. So it's always going to be Dave's band. It's always going to be John Bon Jovi's band, but I don't know. It's too bad if that's the case. I know there's always rumors that Richie may be coming back, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen either. So it is what it is. So let's move on. Ozzy Osbourne, death certificate. I only wanted to point this out because under occupation, it says songwriter, performer, and rock legend. So that's pretty cool. Yes, this is Ozzy's actual death certificate from Birmingham in England. So, and this ties into a story that Ozzy is doing a last chapter of his life to, well, Ozzy isn't doing it, but a film company did it. The last chapter of his life to air on the BBC later this month. Actually, I think it's August 18th. So less than 2 weeks away. Apparently this was filmed over the last 3 years, and it captures Sharon and Ozzy's attempt to complete their dream of moving back to the UK. I don't know if it was that much of it. I mean, Ozzy obviously and Sharon have become wealthy individuals, so probably not the hardest thing to move to a different country if you're wealthy. But I also realize that it's kind of an upheaval, and but I guess Ozzy got home, they had the celebration, and now Ozzy no more, unfortunately. So there you go. I'm going to move on from that one. Bruce Dickinson says he's recording his next solo record next year. I'm guessing it might be at the beginning of the year, because the Iron Maiden tour now, the Run for Your Lives tour, at least in Europe, is over. It ended, I guess, about a week ago or just under a week ago. And so there hasn't been any announcement yet on the Run for Your Lives tour, which concentrates on the first 7 records in America yet. The last tour that we got was, I guess, in 2024, and that was the Future Past tour from the most recent record. And based on the way Iron Maiden has always done stuff when it comes to tours, I'm guessing at some point here in the next couple of months, we're getting an announcement of a fall tour in 2026 for Iron Maiden in the US, playing a lot of their quote unquote greatest hits from the first 7 records, but plus some deep cuts, actually. So it's actually a pretty good set list there, especially if you're an OG Maiden fan and love that kind of some of that early stuff up through the 7th record. And I love Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Though Seventh Son of a Seventh Son wasn't the 7th record, was it? I don't think it was, anyways, but I digress. So There you go. A little nugget I wanted to mention, more so because of the Iron Maiden thing. I get Bruce Dickinson doing his own solo thing. I salute. That's great. But Maiden is Maiden. And you can't beat that. So I'm not going to say it. All right. And then another tour that I'm expecting to be announced probably in the next couple of months here, or pretty quick into 2026, as we start looking at the calendar turning already, because we're 4.5. Is that right? September, October, November. Yeah, we're coming up on 4.5 months until 2026, which is crazy. So then the 40th anniversary of Look What the Cat Dragged In is on May 23rd of 2026. And what's funny about that is that album was released on May 23rd, obviously, 1986. And then it peaked at number 3 on May 23rd, 1987. So it took a year to reach its peak on the Billboard 200 albums chart, which I think is kind of fascinating. Anyway, so I'm expecting a Poison announcement coming up as far as a tour in the next 2 to 3 months, maybe 4 months. And then, because I think this is what Brent Michaels has talked about, and I'm guessing Bobby and Ricky and CC are like anxious to go. And I mean, lead singer disease, obviously. Like I've said before, never be the guitarist, never be the bass player, never be the drummer, always be the singer in a band, because whether you're David Lee Roth or Stephen Pearcy or Vince Neil or not Ricky Rocket, sorry, Brett Michaels or even John Bon Jovi, you can go out and do your own thing. Bruce Dickinson? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know if Bruce does Iron Maiden songs in his set list. I got to look that up really quick. Bruce Dickinson set list. If Bruce is doing Maiden songs, I would be kind of shocked, I guess, a little bit. Let's see, Bruce Dickinson's set list. I'm always fascinated to find out this information. It's a bastion of uninformation that is information overload. But I'm guessing Bruce probably doesn't do Maiden. So he does, at least on the last show that he played, I guess about a year ago, the Mandrake Project tour. He did Alexander the Great. The chorus is only of Alexander the Great, so from Maiden. So I think that's super cool that he's respecting the Maiden stuff and just doing his own stuff. So there you go. No lead singer disease there. I didn't think there was going to be, but I wanted to make sure there wasn't. Anyways, back to Ricky Rocket. So Ricky also announced recently that his oral cancer is still in remission. So that's great news for Ricky. Very nice. 10 years after the diagnosis. So there you go. So I'm expecting a big 2026 when it comes to Maiden in the States, Poison in the States. I don't know what else we're going to get in 2026. Guns N' Roses, I think, is going to be back. That'll be sweet as far as live shows go. So there you go. Not too shabby. All right, let's check the chat and see if anybody else is jumping in today. No, it's kind of quiet. Estes, I know, is away, and some other people might be away. So Beat After Beat just hanging out. Let's see. Beat After Beat mentions Live After Death is a killer. Had it on double cassette. Ooh, yeah, very nice. So I like Maiden, but I never really got into Live After Death. Not because it wasn't great or anything. It just was one of the things that flew past my radar, and I never listened to it. But I'm sure I should go back and listen to it. And then Beat After Beat also mentions that they saw Maiden on the Power Slave tour in '84. Ooh, nice. Well, you got a hell of a nice resume there, Beat After Beat. You're trumping my resume all day long, man. My first show was Night Ranger, and I saw Loverboy and Leopard and Van Halen and the Monsters of Rock with Van Halen and Metallica and Scorpions, and then what else? What have I seen that's cool? Oh, I saw Whitesnake and Motley Crue. Kind of a lot of that. I guess you'd call it the hair metal bands, I guess, or the dance metal, as I would say. So there you go. Paula, also hanging out with us, mentions that she'd love to see Poison. Yeah, Poison's very super cool, in my humble opinion. 1990 records. We're at the 35th anniversary of 1999. I'm sorry, 1990 records. So I wanted to put together a list. There's some stuff that I left off that I'm like, I can't believe there was a lot of great records in 1990. And I got to put Slaughter on that list because Jen would be Jen would give me the evil eye if I didn't put Slaughter on there. Stick It To You came out in 1990, so I had to put Slaughter on there to respect the misses. Judas Priest, Painkiller. If for nothing else than the title track, man, it is just so sweet. The drum intro is amazing, and then when the guitars kick in with Glenn and KK, it's so good. And then Halford is sounding amazing as well. At number 3, I got Extreme, Porno Graffiti. Get the Funk Out is on there. Little Jack Horny's on there. What else? Wholehearted, of course. You got kind of the ballady stuff. But what's on Extreme, Porno Graffiti? And where is that? Let's see. What am I missing from there on that record? Decadence Dance. That's a great song. I love that. And then More Than Words as well on that one. So I had to put that on there because I love Nuno. And Nuno's my guy now. Now that Eddie's gone, unfortunately, Nuno's the guy for me. I just love Nuno. In fact, I saw Extreme did a little medley. What was it, maybe a week ago or something, where they did I Don't Know, I think it was, and then Bark at the Moon, and then Crazy Train. So very nice. Number 2, I've got Megadeth, Rust in Peace. Megadeth was really coming into their own here. They kind of went on a great run in the 90s, in my humble opinion. They were kind of maybe late to the party developing in some ways, but my God, it just comes out of the box, and it comes out of the box hard with Holy Wars, The Punishment on Rest in Peace. And I'm just like, hello, thank you very much. Hangar 18's also on there. Tornado of Souls is on there. So great stuff. And then, of course, after Rust in Peace in 92, we got Countdown to Extinction, Bada Bing, Bada Boom, Bada Bam. And then in 94, we got Euthanasia. That so desperately needs a repress. And then what else came out after what am I? Oh, Cryptic Writings, an album that I think a lot of people forget about that I thought was great. And then Risk, which I actually enjoyed as well. I know it was kind of more a little bit of commercial sounding, but Crush 'Em and Breadline and Insomnia, I don't know. In the 90s, Megadeth just kind of ruled, in my humble opinion, but that's just me. So, and then finally, I've got Queensryche Empire at number 1 because that's a record that I played the hell out of back in the day. Loved it. It was fantastic. It was fantastico. Empire, Another Rainy Night Without You. Della Brown is mentioned on the show a couple days ago. Just such a great record from A to Z, I would say. Great record. So that is my top 5. Let me see. Let's see. Best rock albums of 1990. I mean, there was some good stuff that I left off. Black Crowes, Shake Your Money Maker was a great record. What else did I leave off there? The Razor's Edge by AC/DC was also a great record. Crazy World by the Scorpions. And I'm going to say no, unfortunately, on that one. Cowboys from Hell from Pantera came out in 1990. So yeah, Facelift. Oh, that was another one. I had that on the list, and I took that off for the Facelift by Alice in Chains. Had that on the list. I took that off for the Slaughter record. X by In Excess. That was a great record as well. Cherry Pie by Warrant was actually a great record. Flesh and Blood was a great record from Poison. Heartbreak Station, 1990, had some amazing albums. Danzig 2 came out that year as well. Charmed Life by Billy Idol. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So anyways, I digress. That is my list. There is so many good records there, but if I had to choose one, I'd choose Empire. If I had to choose 2, I might actually go Extreme over Megadeth, but that Rust in Peace is tight, as they say. So there you go. Very cool. Suzanne, did you get the Trickster record here that came out? Ours delivered today. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. We are making it sexy there because I'm at a Mr. Big concert, and so I think that Suzanne's name dropping here. Very nice, Suzanne. Very nice. That is very sexy. Very cool. All right, cool. What else is going on? Okay, so new vinyl announced today. Well, this hasn't been announced, but it's going to be announced here in the next couple hours. Two Doors Cinema Club. I know this is a hot leaking hot in demand record. It's kind of more indie pop, post punk, but a record that a lot of people love. This is getting a pressing on gold vinyl from the RST Essential folks, and those folks are cool. The RST people, well, they're alive, I guess. The RST Essential people, though, are really cool. So yeah, that's going to be announced actually a little bit later tonight. So that's super cool. Well, you can actually pre-order it later tonight. So it's going to be on gold vinyl. It's called Tourist History. And if you want like an OG copy of this one or even a repress, you're looking at $150. So now that you can get one on November 28th, which should be Black Friday Record Store Day this year, is that, let me check the calendar here. So Black Friday Record Store Day, RSD Black Friday, I guess they call it, is indeed the 28th. That is Black Friday. So that's coming out on Black Friday, Two Door Cinema Club, $45, but apparently it's going to have some nice stuff in there in addition to the gold vinyl. So very sexy. What else is coming out? Oh, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is putting out, what is this? This is, Beethoven's Last Night on red vinyl. And that comes out, when does that come out? September 12th. Christmas is coming. I know Stryper just is putting out a Christmas record this year, and they put out a Christmas single. I don't know if you've checked it out or not, but I'm letting you know about it in case you want to check it out on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you get your music these days. I'm guessing there'll be a vinyl release announced here sooner than later, but yeah, Stryper has got a Christmas song out. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, obviously. Once we get to November and December, man, they are running hard and they are running tight. Now, of course, Sabotage, which I guess Trans-Siberian Orchestra came out of Sabotage. Sabotage has actually done some shows this year. So I knew a friend of mine, Tim, who loved Sabotage back in the day. And I'm like, what? You have like the weirdest taste. His taste was Weird Al Yankovic, No Doubt, and Sabotage. I'm like, you're all over the place here. And he says, I know, I'm legendary. I'm like, okay, I get it. I can accept that, Timmy. Or sometimes, as I called him, a Timmy Ree. That's right, Timmy Ree. Anyways, this bad boy is going to set you about $40 if you're interested in a little adding to your Trans-Siberian Orchestra discography. All right, what else is, Bonded by Blood, Exodus. So the title track on this song is actually pretty cool. I know a lot of people love Exodus. This is an album that's highly in demand. It's been repressed a lot, but still, why not another pressing? It's kind of a pinkish red vinyl, I guess kind of a blood vinyl, one might say. It's only going to be $25, so not too shabby. You can find it from your favorite local record store. And that comes out on September 19th. So there you go. A little metal on metal, Anvil style, but in this case, it's Bonded by Blood by Exodus. And then finally, this comes out next week. And Jen's excited for this one. Billy Idol is getting reissued. Charmed Life is being reissued on vinyl for the first time in what? A long time. Well, this came out in 1990. Yeah. So 35 years it's been since this bad boy was pressed. And I think it was only pressed in Europe. So it was like one of those really hard records to find. As a lot of 80s artists just didn't get any love in the 90s, unfortunately. But in Europe, thankfully, the Europeans were still pressing vinyl from some of our favorite bands from the 80s, and including Billy Idol and, of course, Steve Stevens. So I think this is a really good record by Billy Idol. In fact, I don't know. I mean, Rebel Yell is great, and Eyes Without a Face makes it great. But this record, Charmed Life, I don't know. I'm going to say it. I mean, I know hell is going to rain down on me, but Charmed Life is better than Rebel Yell. Oh my God, I just said it. Holy crap. Crazy. All right, cool. Anything else going on in the chat? Let's see here. Billy Idol does rock. Exodus is cool. Stryper, boom, 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 boom. And then Empire, not a skip on it, Paula says. I concur indubitably. All right, just a reminder, we're going to be exclusively on YouTube starting September 23rd. That's the plan. Don't hold me to it, unless the parakeet gets it. I'm going to, hang on a second, I'm going to do it this way. All right. You got to follow, you got to subscribe to the show on YouTube. Otherwise, Jerry the parakeet gets it. Watch out, Jerry. Anyways. That's it. That's all I got to say there. Cool. It's time to tell you about some Skid Row tour dates. It's finally, no, wait, it's not happening. I don't mean to be a schmuck here. The band does not have a lead singer at the moment. Sebastian Bach is out on the road. The band is not interested in working with Sebastian ever again. Never say never in the music world, but in this case, I don't know. I mean, David Lee Roth came back to Van Halen. Slash and Duff came back to Guns N' Roses. Never say never as far as a Sebastian Bach back in Skid Row, but it doesn't look good. And yes, I love Skid Row, but yes, in some ways, I am mocking Skid Row because there's no tour dates. There's nothing going on with the band, which is so disappointing because you need to be out there. This is your time to shine. Anyways, so there you go. No tour dates for Skid Row, but hopefully at some point we'll hear of a new lead singer or a previous lead singer that's come back to the band, and they won't have any communication with each other. They'll be on stage and then they'll walk off the stage in opposite directions, not see each other again until they're back on stage. How about that? No? Well, what are you going to do? All right, cool. Ugly Kid Joe. So, a couple things. So, Deco Entertainment is going to announce, I think, as soon as tomorrow or next week, that they are pressing. What's the album they're pressing from? It's not Ugly Kid Joe. Let me see. It's not that record that you're hoping for, but it's the second record that you should be hoping for. Let's just put it that way. You're hoping for America's Least Wanted, with, of course, Cats in the Cradle on it, among others. But what you're getting is Menace to Sobriety, the 30th anniversary edition pressing on color vinyl. So I wanted to mention, I tried to go out and find some Ugly Kid tour dates. So this is apparently happening on an island in Spain. So if you got some buku dinero and you want to head over to Spain, well, unfortunately, that's sold out as well. So you're going to have to get something on the aftermarket. You can see Ugly Kid Joe. And that's coming up, what, in October? I think that's October. I can never read the dates in Europe the way I should. But yeah, they always put the day first instead of the month first. So I think that's basically October 13th through the 20th in Mallorca, on an island in Spain. Michael Schenker's also going to be there, and a bunch of other bands, unfortunately, I've never heard of. Apparently, Hammerfall is headlining. Have you ever heard of Hammerfall? Right over my head. No idea who Hammerfall is. I know that Hammer to Fall is a great Queen song. Give me some Brian May. Give me some Roger Taylor. Give me some John Deacon. And give me some Freddie. That's right. All right, cool. So there you go. Ugly Kid Joe. But the reason why I found this is because I wanted to mention that Deco Entertainment, our friends who put out Revolution by Slaughter and Ultraphobic by Warrant, are now putting out Menace to Sobriety by Ugly Kid Joe. So we got that going for us, which is pretty nice. All right, cool. All right, what else is going on? Oh, Deftones. I really never there's like one Deftones song that I really like. Drive So Far Away From Me, or whatever it's called. I haven't really explored the catalog like I have some other bands, like Avenged Sevenfold. I want to get into a little more because Hail to the King, Baby. I love that song, so good. But there's a bunch of bands, you just can't listen to everything, and eventually you miss stuff because you're like, oh, damn, I'm listening to Cryptic Writings again for the 500th time instead of checking out the catalog of Deftones. And maybe that's the wise decision, but still, Deftones are actually pretty cool. They've got a North American tour going. Phanagram's opening part of it, and then Idols is opening the other part of it. Idols is kind of an older band, but kind of a cool band. So, because of The Sweat, is there a Phoenix date on there for me? Phoenix. I see Kansas City. Maybe they'll show up in Kansas City since they didn't show up for Rush on the R40 tour. Anyway, so I'm all hyped up today. I'm like JoJo, the dog-faced boy, with my bad hair. So, anyways, I digress. People are like, what is this? What is this crap, man? He used to sell vinyl records, and I used to buy all the vinyl records, but now he's doing his shtick, and it's so wonderful. Indeed. Ice Nine Kills, baby. hi, hi. It's like 117 in Phoenix today. Hi, hi. I could go for some ice. They're on tour with Dayseeker, and that tour actually starts this weekend in Green Bay. Green Bay, Wisconsin, home of the Packers, who have won 2 Super Bowls in my time. Before my time, I believe they won a couple Super Bowls, obviously with Vince Lombardi and with Bart Starr. So, and my Vikings haven't won nothing. Nothing. My Vikings haven't won. And it's not like the Cardinals here in Arizona are a juggernaut at all either, because they don't win dick either. They got nothing going for them. Hey, but there is a Tempe date coming up in August. Might be a little warm for Ice Nine Kills, but still very cool. And then what else? Oh, that's it. That's it for. Oh my God! Oh, that's right. I did the Skid Row thing. My little bit there on Skid Row not having any tour dates. So I digress. So there you go. I'm going to watch the Sweet 16 video after this show. Very nice. Skid has already had 5 singers. That is insane. Paula, you are a Packers fan? Yeah. Then again, you never have to be scared of my Vikings. How about that? The Bears haven't won since '85. The Lions, forget about it. The Vikings, forget about it. Talk about a crappy division, huh? The Packers have got 4 world championships. The Bears have 1, and the Lions have that big 0, and the Vikings have almost a bigger 0 because they've been to 4 Super Bowls. So it's been 50 years since the Vikings were in a Super Bowl, and they're 0-4. They're the Buffalo Bills of Minnesota. I don't know if that makes any sense. Oh, Mike is a Packer fan. Well, there you go. So at least you got the Favre title, you got the Aaron Rodgers title. So you're doing better than I am. So there you go. Hey, if you're digging the show, I'd appreciate if you smash the like button. And if you really want to go the extra mile, like Red and Andy Dufresne, you can cross the border in Fort Hancock, Texas, baby. Boom. Say what nail all the way and tell a friend. I am just finishing, maybe not finishing. I'm getting to the part in Born on the 4th of July where Ron Kovac, Tom Cruise, kind of goes anti-war for the Vietnam War. Now, the Vietnam War was like so long ago, and this movie is what, 30? Oh, this movie's coming up probably at 40 years. So it's just like, is any of this relevant anymore? But still. I'm kind of enjoying it though. I'm watching it on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix, and I'm watching Born on the 4th of July. But so desperately, I want to switch over to The Departed with Jack Nicholson and Lenny DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg. Alec Baldwin is great in that. Alec Baldwin is great in moderation. That's what I found. Glengarry Glen Ross, he is so good in that. That small scene in this in The Departed, he's really good in that as well. In small doses. He's kind of like Will Ferrell when it comes to comedy. Other than Elf, I would argue that Will Ferrell movies aren't that good. Though I know I'd probably take some heat because of the fact that Will Ferrell was in, what's the guy? Ron LaFlamme? No, Ron Hitchcock. What's that? The San Diego news guy. Will Ferrell. What is that? I don't even know it. Oh, and The Legend of Ron Burgundy. Thank you. There you go. So I don't. All right, cool. That's it. Oh, my vinyl of the day. So I could go get it, but it's like on the other side of the house. But we have it, and I'll show it to you tomorrow. I forgot to go grab it. It's on the other side of the house. We have the 35th anniversary of Here by Trickster, a long-awaited record. Came out in 1990 as well. Very good year. And it's on blue and red vinyl. And this one's autographed by PJ and Steve from the band. It's kind of the other 2 guys are on the outs with 2 of the guys. So very dysfunctional again, I suppose. But it is what it is, I suppose, is once again. But yeah, so that I'll show it to you tomorrow because I don't have a physical copy here, but it is in the house. It has arrived, and I don't know. I'm sure Jennifer's going to crack it open pretty quick. And I'm sure it will be sublime. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing my top 5 Rush albums. So if you have a top 5 list of Rush albums, I'd invite you to participate in the chat or as a comment. That's always fun because I like to hear what you guys are into because, except if it's the Packers, of course. All due respect to Mike. But I like to hear what you're into, because that's one of the things I loved about the record store. When we had the record store, you'd find out, oh man, I should be listening to Pink Floyd, and hot damn, this is some pretty good stuff. Man, I should be listening to System of a Down. This is actually pretty good. So there you go. Maybe with Trickster, the same thing. So not too shabby. All right. We are here every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Rock This Town Live. You can find the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And you can always rewatch the show on YouTube at your convenience. This episode is called 10 Years Without Rush and 5 years without Neil Peart, and actually 10 years without Van Halen as well. Plus some subjective, based off of historical data on when we will see an announcement of the Iron Maiden tour for next year, the Run for Your Lives, and the Poison 40th anniversary of Look What the Cat Dragged In reissue, because that album's not in print and hasn't been for a couple of years now. So that's gotten expensive on the secondary markets. And then a Poison tour as well. And plus, I'd expect a Guns N' Roses tour announcement as well at some point by the before the end of the year. So there you go, beat after beat. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for hanging out. And if you're silent but deadly, as they say, I appreciate you just tuning in. So there you go. Big show in the book. Have yourself a wonderful Thursday night. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Live, baby, live like an excess.